day 13. Technically, it's day 14 right now, but we're going to talk
Yeah.
about day 13, where Lawrence read chapters 121 to 130 of Bleach for the first time. Lawrence, how are you?
Good. We'll see if the memory still holds up because it's been at
Yeah.
least probably like 14 hours since I read this chapter, but I think it's still fresh enough in the membrane in the mind.
Coincidentally, we're talking about volume 14, and where we last left off in Bleach was Ichigo uh, battled his inner hollow, won, came back for
Yeah.
round two with Zaraki, defeated Zaraki, and Danju and Hanataro tried to rescue Rukia, were unsuccessful due to Byakuya intervening, but Ichigo had started his Bankai training with Yoriichi. And Uryu and Orihime encounter Captain of the 12th Division, Mayuri Kurotsuchi.
Yes.
So the Kurotsuchi fight takes up a good portion of the 10 chapters here. What
Hmm.
were your thoughts on Kurotsuchi himself as well as the fight?
Kurotsuchi. Oh yeah. So I mean, it seemed like you're kind of a typical mad scientist type. Someone who's kind of lost his like concern or really care for the human race, and also like whatever race the Soul Reapers are. Like I don't think he really gives a crap. He's just
Mm.
all about obtaining the next scientific goal, and pushing the boundaries of what's capable and what's been discovered so far. So he definitely like fits that stereotype to a T. um yes, kind of a douche. But yeah, I mean, definitely powerful. And you can see like why he's held in such esteem within like probably the Soul Reaper world.
So, what did you think about a lot of what Kurotsuchi was doing in terms of how he fought?
Fight. In terms of how he fought, I'm trying to think back on his exact on
Mm-hmm.
his exact way he fought. Uh, he obviously used his assistant as a shield, uh, which pretty bad stuff there. And then I feel like this was the first time that you got the use of a Bankai,
Mm-hmm.
within a battle. It was nice to see that he had that ace in the hole there. Um, yeah, it was yeah, just really really powerful guy, and he had poison too. His body was like very I think immune to poisons as well, and also his assistant was, and that was very important in his fight. Definitely a smart fighter. Um, yeah.
I think this is one of the better fights early on because it actually goes on for a while with actual things happening. Um,
I
I
mean,
feel
yeah,
like something the series struggles with is that a lot of the fights are just kind of so because they're fighting with swords, and Kubo doesn't necessarily know how to draw that out a lot of the time. And if he does,
yeah,
it really feels more like it's stalling than an actual like good fight. But I think this is one of the good ones.
yeah. I think it's a solid fight. I mean,
Mm,
if I'm looking at the rest of yeah. Yeah, I think the strategy element of it, and in
mm,
terms of like Uryu really, I liked Uryu's end of the fight a lot. Like I liked
mm,
him, kind of uh reflecting on events in his life, like his relationship with his father, and how he didn't want him to be a Quincy, and the whole thing with his
mm.
grandfather. Uh,
What
yeah,
did you think of that revelation that Kurtsuchi was responsible for his grandfather's death?
Yeah, that was that was yeah, very impactful. Like I liked how that really tied together. I mean, it fits with the timeline in terms of like the Quincy's were really like dying out on at a fast
Mm,
rate, and it seems like yeah, it was pretty likely that that him dying the way he did, was likely going to be one of the last Quincy's, and it was like yeah, definitely a really impactful moment where you kind of got to see it all come full circle. and really push Uryu to like the brink, and because I think without that motivation, it would have been curtains a lot earlier.
Mhm. So, what did you think afterwards on the developments with Ichigo in his training as well as with his allies across Soul Society?
Gotcha. Yeah. In terms of Ichigo, I think this is I think in the like that the within that first or second chapter of this week, they really went into depth with the Shikai and Bankai stuff. So now I'm starting to like understand that now, as in like
Mm,
the Shikai is like the communicating and synchronizing with your Zanpukto, and the Bankai is externalizing and forcing into your submission. So it was interesting to see that dynamic. I think it's definitely a cool setup in terms of him having to face Zangetsu to get hit to and beat him in order to like force him into like into his will, and externalizing the Zangetsu's full abilities. So yeah, definitely exciting developments there. Yoriichi seems very impressed with his progression. She keeps commenting like, now I know what like Urahara, like Kasuke was talking about when he was describing like this guy's a one in a million student, or Soul Reaper. So yeah,
mm,
lot of exciting revelations that occurred during this whole stuff too.
mhm. What are your thoughts on Hitsugaya confronting Jin? All the new developments here with the Hitsugaya investigation and Aizen murder storyline.
Like, should I go all the way up until like the
Yeah,
last Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this whole storyline's definitely been like the most exciting in terms like of like plot developments. You know, between who killed Aizen, pretty much. Obviously, your
Mm,
first inclination was Ichimaru or Jin, based on the evidence of Hatsugaya telling Momo like, you need to watch out for this guy. He's up to no good, and obviously that's why she confronted him, and they had the whole squabble, and ended with her in jail. But now it's kind of like changing up in terms of you got the confrontation in which, after like Momo escaped from prison, she shows up and is like and puts her sword up to Hatsugai's neck rather than Jin's. And I was like, that's insane. I mean, definitely a plot twist. Really, I feel like I need to see like where it goes before I can like fully give it the credit or not. If it ends up being like just some like corny kind of reveal that in
mm,
everything that I've seen thus far was like inconsequential, like I need some like more depth or layers to like
mm.
the explanation of why it's like all been this like shady for this whole time. It needs to pay off for sure.
Do you think Hitsugaya killed him?
I guess. I mean, things are starting to make. I like looking at the evidence I've seen throughout the last 10 chapters, and maybe in the last 20. Like, things
Mm,
are starting to like come into focus more that would point to him in terms of like he was getting right on to like doing the captain's job, like after he killed Aizen. So like maybe his motivation is there's something about being the fifth division captain that like entice that he's like desperate for. Like maybe there's some like background behind there, and then the fact that he was so willing to just like throw blame on Jin, it obviously means that either he was just like making that up whole cloth because Jin seems like kind of a sketchy character, maybe he'd do it, or
mm,
he like knows even more like details as to like that connection, and it's shady in general that he would like have any information on that whole event. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised though. She seemed pretty confident when she put that sword up to his neck, and she definitely probably read that letter that was given to Rukia. So yeah, definitely probably him.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any predictions for what's going to happen in the next 10 chapters?
Um Next 10 chapters. Uh I think probably obviously they're going to continue that whole Zangetsu versus Ichigo fight to in order for Ichigo to get his Bankai abilities intact. Um let me see what else I think's gonna happen. I mean, obviously, they're gonna probably. I think the people in prison. Or Orihime. I forgot to mention like the whole Orihime thing
Hmm.
where she ends up getting caught by the 11th by Zaraki, and Zaraki kind of agrees to help her because he sees this as a clear route to finding Ichigo again. So I think there's going to be more payoff in terms of like what's going on with that whole grouping, some asides there. uh Probably some stuff in the prison, maybe a little bit going on there, but this is only 10 chapters, so I probably it would be a lot to kind of fit in there, but I think it's mostly going to be the Zengetsu versus Ichigo stuff.
Well, let's talk about volume 15, Beginning of the Death of Tomorrow. This is Beginning of the Death of Tomorrow. This is maybe one of my favorite volume names, as well as one of my favorite poems. This is a sweet but simple, sorry, simple but sweet pair of
Maybe.
lines here. And
Yeah,
I just keep practicing saying goodbye to you.
I just keep practicing saying goodbye. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like it's a simple, gets the point across. I definitely see the how it can fit thematically to that's everything that's going on in this story. Yeah, so I like it. Just short and sweet.
It's very melancholy, very sad, but it evokes a lot. The
Yeah,
idea of um, being so caught up in believing that someone will depart your life that
yeah,
you can only practice in your mind saying goodbye instead of focusing on them in the moment.
right. And I really like when something can get like such a lot of depth off it, like in a very concise
Mm,
manner. So it's yeah, definitely perfectly kind of just like it's in and it's out, and it nails it. Yeah, so definitely
yeah, and
among the top tier.
I think this is one of the volume covers that really stands out as well. Kubo does a lot with this cover here. With I don't know what's with all this cloth that Kira is sitting on and surrounded by, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, I really like in the color, like the black and white.
Mm.
It's like this is perfect, the perfect contrast. Of course, it's classic, and then yeah,
What
just really cool.
speaking of that, what have you been thinking about the art overall for the series as you've been going by?
I think it's definitely like been like gotten better. I think like of course
Mm,
like it was rough in those first like 10 or so. Like who
mm,
gets the right out of the ballpark on the first like 10 chapters. But now like the further it's gotten, it's definitely really increased in quality in my opinion. Every character has like a great like design. Like I think they like perfectly kind of like sets up your expectations of who they're going to be and usually follows through really well. So that's a telltale sign of unique characters and doing really great in terms of that. And then yeah, just the way the hollows are designed, the actions really well drawn. Yeah, so definitely some of the best artwork I've seen in manga.
cool. Yeah, I really like the artwork of the series. I'll say it again. Like I feel like that's one of the things that really stands out. The contrast, the use of black and white. I feel like he does a lot of things that other reviewers won't do.
Yep.
And it only ratchets up as
Yep.
the series goes on.
Yeah, just like looking up some more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see like where he takes us. Yeah, it's definitely, as I said, it's improving chapter by chapter, and at this point, I'm like, yeah, definitely
Mhm.
see why that acclaim has been given.
All right. You actually just finished volume 15, so tomorrow you are going to start by reading volume 16,
Enjoy a
Night of
fresh one.
Night of Wajinbridge.
Nice, nice.
And
Yeah,
you'll finish all of volume 16 and you'll start volume 17 already tomorrow.
yeah, of course. Yeah, right, really ended on a good plot twist, so definitely excited to see how that turns out, with the Momo confrontation to Heskaya. Yeah, so hopefully we go right into that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a chapter delay or something, or like yeah, but you know, exciting stuff.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts you want to share?
No, I feel like I got everything out there. Yeah, another great 10 chapters. And yeah, we'll see. I think there's it's going to continue to be good. I'm feeling good about it.
All right. Well, have a good night, everyone. We'll see you later.
All right, later
Bye.
today. All
Yeah.
right, see ya. Yeah.
Bye.
All right. All right.